Three sisters with stories to tell. Books in our hands, we know them well. Flipping pages where dreams dwell. Chapter one, here you go. Turn the light, let the words flow. Laughs and love in every show. Books, sweethearts, we grow.
The Wren in the Holly Library by K.A. Lind. You guys want to know something I learned in London? When an author, especially a female author, uses their first initials and their last name, it is typically because they want this will help them sell the book better. Whereas if they have a feminine first name on there and a last name, and it's a fantasy book, it makes it harder to sell them. J.K. Rowling, her Harry Potter books, nobody wanted to publish them because they didn't think anybody would read that kind of work by a woman as part of it.
That's
And
ironic
so
because I
that's how they
don't
sold
like
it.
male authors. Like, I won't read a book if it's by a male author.
But it's a mystery either
hardly.
way. So I don't know
Oh.
if that's why K.A. Lind did this, but it is a nice little tidbit of information. But yes,
New
the Wren in the
wrinkles.
Holly Library. We have our shit together today. It's going to go much smoother. If you watch this episode, it was chaotic. Here we go. Let's do this. We are the rapid recap. Okay, so we met our MMC Kierce, like Pierce, but with a K. She's a stealthy thief, and she obviously isn't as good as she puts herself out there as, because she got caught in the first heist we meet her in. She's caught by a mysterious monster man in the Holly Library title. The monster, his name is Graves, and he identifies that Kierce has this ability to break wards. She doesn't even know what wards are, but they're magic, and now she knows magic exists. Exists.
I thought you were saying something about magic is atheist. I was like,
No.
what?
Okay, but now it's like, oh my God, magic is a real thing. But now that he's realized she can break wards, he wants her to do a job for him rather than doling out a punishment, which is something he normally would do for the B&E. So he makes her sign this mysterious book, lets her leave to think about it. And he even was like, here, take this thing you were trying to steal. It was a ring. Which was weird. And so she goes and takes the ring to this man Aberdash, who's I guess hired her for the job. He's a wraith, so he's a soul sucker essentially. And she talks to him about what happened, and he says, "Watch your back," which apparently he does not give that warning, and she should take it seriously. And it came to fruition very quickly because she goes back to the brothel attic that she lives in with her BFFs Ethan and Jen, and they immediately get attacked. It's her fault. She's the reason that everybody in there gets attacked. Gang, the druids are after her. They're led by a dude named Lorcan. They run from these people, get away in a taxi. I thought that there was a flare in the taxi, but no, she paid the fare. She did not blow up the taxi. They end up in 5 Points, which is where Nate of the werewolf gang gives them refuge, and there's some history there. We get this mysterious name Tara that gets brought up that hurts like Kierce a little bit. And when we're wrapping this part up, she's deciding she's gonna do this, and she's injured from the fighting. So that's where we left off. That's the rapid recap, and I'm gonna keep talking. Okay, so I'm gonna open my book too real quick. But in chapter 9, we left off with Kierce, and she's in the room with Nate. So they have some history. She actually used to be with them. Her fate with her previous boss put her in their paths, and she worked for them a lot. So they're talking about what happened while he's waiting for his girlfriend Mara to show up and stitch Kierce up. She's a nurse. And we learned a little bit more about Kierce's history. She left the 5 Points after her ex-girlfriend Tora was kidnapped, and they could not save her. And so she's really torn up about this. She blames herself. Nate is also upset about it. He gets the whole story from her with the magic, with the ward breaking everything. And she brings up Lorcan, who was trying to get her. And Nate knows him, and he is notoriously terrifying. Grace is his enemy. So obviously, being there, she was seen leaving his house unharmed. And this other gang saw, and now she's their enemy. Nate reveals that he also knows Graves after Mara showed up and she's stitching Kier's up. So he's like, hey, remember that scary mother effer that I was telling you about? Because it's just like, oh, excuse me, you know him? Wait. So he's notorious for being able to get anything for a price. And the book that Kierce signed seals a deal between him and whoever signs it. And it makes it to where they have to keep his name a secret. Now, Kierce is already going around spitting the name out, Graves, Graves, Graves. So obviously, this book signing situation did not affect her. Um, Graves, we find out, helped get the monster treaty signed, but not so much for like just out of the goodness of his heart. He had his own reasons for it, but it was a positive thing. Nate thinks Kier should do the job, but there are multiple reasons. One's that, how it could benefit her. He says that it can benefit like society as a whole by like getting at the monsters. And he offers his support in any way that he can help and wants her to stay and like be part of his life again. And when she's back with Jen, Ethan, and his boyfriend Corey, who showed up after all the, Jen's immediately like, so you're leaving, right? It's this holy best friend. I know you more than I know myself. Sadness because like she doesn't know that she's going to make it out of this. She wants them to stay there because they're not safe back at the brothel house. There's a little bit of banter back and forth about that, but ultimately they're going to stay there and she's going to go take the job to try to get them out of this situation and improve their lives. That was chapter 9.
So I have a couple of things. So they did confirm, because I know we talked last episode on, are the druids human, or is that just their name, or are they like practicing, and what are the druids and whatnot? And they do confirm specifically that Lorcan is human.
Mm-hmm.
And the part where they talk about Torah, and like I have a feeling that somehow Torah and Lorcan are like, she's with him somehow. Either he kidnapped her or what. Like at this point,
At this
I don't
point,
know.
this is what you were thinking? Like in chapter 9?
In chapter 9, so as of
Okay.
page 55,
Okay.
when she's talking about, so I just want to say that anybody that's reading this book, I highly, highly recommend you look up the Celtic druid, like how, I don't even know how to explain it, but like what
Like
they
the folklore?
believe. Yeah, because after I looked up, I just did like the basic AI, Irish druids, and it spit out some nice juicy knowledge. There is so much undertone in this book that I was not picking up at all. Which, to
You
your
do
point,
enjoy that.
if she is from the UK, as you may have led by her how she does her name, then it would be more common over there because it is.
She could be, but she wasn't like she doesn't know much about her origin, so we don't really know where
No,
she's
I'm at the
from.
author.
Oh, JK.
Get it, girl? Love that.
Cool. She has a cool history.
Being from Lubbock?
She has a master's degree in political science from University of Georgia, was a head campaign worker for 2012 presidential campaign at University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. She was a head coach at Duke University of the dance team. She likes to travel and she lives in Lubbock. Yeehaw. But no, I mean, maybe she has roots in Ireland or she traveled there and loved it. But yeah, maybe that's what.
I mean, yeah, because like the Wren and the Holly have very specific ties to the winter, versus the robin and the oak king are very specific to spring summer, which is book 2. And so the very title in itself is like setting the tone that we don't even know exists if
Her
we don't know
author's
anything about
note
druids.
says so much. It was raining on my favorite day in Ireland
There we go.
at the very beginning.
Sold. Um,
Okay, let's get back on track before I have to flag us.
well, so I was gonna say, so I don't know how they're intertwined, but like she just straight up, all we know right now is she went missing.
Mhm.
And the way Nate is approaching it, it doesn't make it sound like he believes she was just straight up kidnapped. Like, I feel like he's thinking there's something else, like she was,
Yeah, they do say that.
yeah. Um, and so the
But he
fact
at
that it's
first
like,
approaches it like she left, like, and that hurts Kier's.
right,
Yeah.
right. And so I wanted to throw that in there. And when you do the interlude, there is one sentence in there that then made me take my theory one step further.
Okay.
So do your interlude, and then
Well, Hannah,
I went conspiracy hard after
did you
this.
have anything else that I missed here? Because I didn't go into a lot of detail.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
cool.
agree. There was a lot of foreshadowing in that.
Okay. This is the first book I've ever read that had an interlude. So like
I
sidebar, I
know.
guess. So in the interlude, we're getting Declan, who was one of the people that was trying to attack Kier's, and we're getting his like a little sidebar from him. He's talking to Cormac, I don't know, Irish. And they're like, "Oh man, Lorcan's gonna be pissed because we failed our mission." And they're druids, obviously. They were supposed to go out and kill Kier's. It was supposed to be a simple thing. They're supposed to be really badass dudes. Declan is Lorcan's second in command. He came from Ireland and worked his way up there. And he mentions that he had met Graves in the past. And this was Ashley was talking about. He was tasked with driving to Graves's home and delivering this box. And when Graves opens the door, immediately was like, "Oh, dude, this guy. I don't even want him." Uh, but he opens the box and it's these Irish wildflowers. And he says they're the sort that bloomed in the fields behind his ma's cottage in yellows, purples, and dark blues. And they made him homesick. But as soon as Graves saw them, he looked at him and he said something had flashed in his eyes, death incarnate. So he threw it on the floor, and like came towards Declan, and Declan just like tucked tail and ran. Is that what yeah, he tucked tail and ran. He was out of there. He's like, "Peace, I'm not dealing with this dude. Scary as shit." Um, and so he kind of went through that and how Graves is pictured as this like boogeyman. Everybody's like he's the boogeyman. Everybody's a little scared of him. He is mythical. Um, and yeah, he's back in his current state and makes it to Lorcan's office. And immediately it gets a like, "Well, are they dead? Did you succeed?" They got away. And, honestly, I thought he would be like, "Okay, you're going to lose a finger." He sounds like, this guy would do some kind of shit like that. But he lets them know that they got away in a cab to the Dreadlord's territory. So they know where they are, but they must know they're not accessible there. And I guess they expected Graves to come to her aid because he asked if he was there. He was not there. So they're very surprised that Kier's was able to evade them without his help. And it's like showing that she is valuable and why Graves wants her to work with him. And he asks, does she know of the agreement? Which that's the only like elusive thing I could think of that Ashley might be talking about. Like, did she know of the agreement? So I think she must have broken some kind of agreement by walking out of Graves's home. And because he's like, she didn't even seem to know who you were. That's gonna change, won't it? Uh, and he's like, I'll go try again. And Logan's like, the whole like, I'm just gonna take care of it myself. Does he?
Yeah, he does.
Okay, so later on.
Later.
Okay. Yeah. But as of right now, we don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, Declan's in trouble. He was not successful at his job. I don't know. I can't
I'm
pinpoint
honestly
it.
not sure. Even having read the next couple of chapters, I'm still undecided on like knowing the terms of the agreement. I'm like, I don't understand. Like, I'm confused as to why he's making that move.
You're talking about the monster treaty or the agreement, like that we
The
learned later.
agreement between Lorcan and Graves.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm honestly lost as to like what's going on right now.
Yeah.
So, I got a lot to learn.
So one thing, did you guys find it interesting? Like at the very beginning of this, when Declan and Cormac are talking, they're talking about like, go find Orla because she's missing. So
That's the one
Orla's the
she clocked her. She
yeah,
got her in there.
but
Yeah.
they knew because remember when Declan is talking to Kier's, he's like, yeah, you defeated like one of our better fighters or whatever. So she's now missing from after that. So like,
No, I think this is like immediately after that happened. And she's like still passed out over there and they need to go get her. That's
well, no,
how I took it.
so, but that's already happened. So when the part I'm talking about, so when Declan and Cormac are about to approach them, they're running through the apartment before they get in the
Mhm.
cab. He tells her like, yeah, you already beat up Orla, but calls her I don't know, whatever else.
Yeah, it's an impressive
Um,
feat or whatever.
right. So he knew that she was like laying there, but in here, so now all of that's done with, and now they're regrouping or whatever, but she wouldn't be missing.
Maybe that's just how they said it though. Like maybe you but you could be right, but if like how I'm reading it is like, oh, we just have to find her. Like she's not like a missing person.
Mm,
Like a turn of phrase, like
gotcha. I mean, yeah, maybe
but
that could make sense.
Cormac went in
Yeah,
search of the missing member of their team,
yeah,
taking a nap on the street still.
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So I can live with that. So the one sentence in here that kind of sent me down the rabbit hole is so this is right when Declan is getting off the elevator and going up to Lorcan's office.
Mhm.
He says, at his entrance, a robin fluttered in a cage nearby.
I totally skipped over that. Where they have bird cages. And the next book is called Robin something, right?
And so here's the thing. It is part of folklore is druids believe that the soul never dies. It like when someone dies, that soul goes into
Mhm.
the next living being or whatever. But they also talk about something kind of like what they do in Harry Potter. What you call it?
Like
Transfiguration
yeah.
or whatever. And so I went hard and I was like, what if Torah is said Robin? Like if they are magical, because we don't know, but like he did something and like she ends up being the next story. Like she is said Robin.
I have not seen Torah's tie to Lorcan yet in the whole section that we read.
So I haven't either, but well, it the way they're
Torah,
spinning the
like I haven't seen a tie to Lorcan at all. Like why he would
it's
be
more the she's telling the stories like in pieces of both of them simultaneously kind of. And usually when people are conversing and you're talking about two different things, there's a reason you're talking about two totally different things at the same time. Like they're
yeah.
somehow tied together. Um and like I said, it is total conspiracy. It could be
I'm not
way
gonna say
off.
much more on it because I don't like putting my foot in my mouth on camera.
I
Been
don't
there, done
mind. I
that.
can be 1,000,000% wrong. But the one thing that you guys should definitely know about the wildflowers. So the yellows, they're all basically about like protection or from evil spirits, or some are like healing. Um but when you get to the dark blue, the bluebell is very, very ominous. It says in Irish lore, they are sometimes called dead man's bells and are associated with magic, fairies, and sometimes sadness. And
Mhm.
often seen as a warning, it is considered bad luck to pick them or bring them into the house. And then we just found out about the flowers.
Yeah. We haven't posted.
Man.
Yeah, you would have time to do it.
You know, I like to cherry pick what info I
It's
look
true.
at. Like,
That's interesting though, and it makes sense why he would like throw them if it's like a threat, and especially have if he has
yeah.
ties to it, even though
Well,
he's
and like,
British.
and then the deep purple ones that they talk about, it's typically foxglove, and it's
That one's
believed.
deadly.
Well, it says in some traditions, it was believed to be a quote unquote glove for foxes to wear to sneak into gardens. And yeah, and that the only other kind of flower that they think it could be is associated with sorrow or remembrance, and is for protection against negative energy. So there's like a lot of bad juju associated with
Was
these
it bad
kinds of
juju bundle
flowers.
of flowers?
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
The
So
bird is absolutely significant though. I didn't mean it like I'm surprised I skipped over that. Because like obviously birds and cages are theme here.
yeah,
Um okay, we ready for part two? Okay, the wren is part two. So we get this nice little bird cage with wren.
I
Um
forgot it had parts, and I was like, Since when are the chapters named? Holy
oh
crap!" Like,
and then like Kirst obviously is the wren. She has ties in the wren with her necklace. Okay, so this chapter, Kirst is ready to head back to Graves' home. I didn't really know what she was doing here because it just seemed like an avoidant, like a long way to get there. So I'm just going to go through a little bit of what she went through. Talks a little bit about travel in New York City in these times and how unsafe most of the modes of transportation are. She prefers the bus. The subway's super dangerous, but like there are the safe routes she knows. Nate has promised her that she can get through his troll buddy safely. So she pays a troll toll and takes the F train to 57th Street. She bought some treats, little bakery treats, and sat on the steps outside the Met, staring at Coraline's statue and then just contemplating Coraline's life and what she would have done if she had been alive and what she feels about what transpired after she died, even though she's dead. Um, and then she goes into how she maps the city, not by boroughs, not by the actual streets or anything, but she maps it by territory. So the human gangs, and then the bigger players. So there's a lot of smaller human gangs, but the bigger players are the gents in East Village. And East Village is tied to vampires, I believe. The Italian Mafia in Little Italy and the Druids in Brooklyn. We already know about them. And then the monster territory is the worst. It's been shored up since the war, but sometimes still disputed and could be catastrophic for humans. And then, yeah, the largest vampire clan on the Upper East, so maybe not the East Village. And then you have Nate's competing wolf pack in the West Village. And Times Square is just like this disputed area. As that means like it's good. Anybody can go there. It's like free for all. No, okay.
I think they're all trying to say that it's
Nobody's
theirs.
safe. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
Undisputed would be good. Disputed is bad. Okay.
yeah.
So yeah, and she goes into the least of those entities abided by the monster treaty, and then there were some others that don't think they should be to it. And let's see, the worst of them is
Men
the
of
men of
valor.
valor, which we're gonna learn more about. And she knows they've been around for a while. She says she had heard whispers of them before they took Torah. So the men of valor is who supposedly took Torah. And she says the only positive thing about them is that even though they have men in their title, they are not gender biased. So
Yeah.
they'll take anybody.
Did you guys,
Um,
when you read that their group name was Men of Valor, please tell me you both rolled your eyes, because I was just like, "Ugh, there's always that one stupid like group that's like that."
it is pretty lame, but they're not racial or sexually biased.
No.
They're
Yeah.
just. She says they're just terrible monsters who wanted to kill all humans. Delightful. So yeah, so she's like staring at Coraline still, wondering like what would have been different if things hadn't played out like they were. Would she have her girlfriend? Finishes snacks, observes a mermaid who tries to seduce her slightly in the pond in Central Park, and decides like I'm not gonna let that mermaid mess with me. I'm gonna take off towards Graves's brownstone. She said monsters had taken everything from her, and her sanctuary wasn't safe. But with Graves, she knows he can fix what she'd broken. and he'd never even see her coming. I think she underestimates him. Like, she's all high
Severely.
and mighty little human. Like, I can sneak around this guy. I just don't think, like,
Well,
he's
and
known
like,
your every move and you've had no indication that.
let's see how she might be valid in feeling that before she really met him. But then, like, after their first encounter and you find out that magic is real, like, he's very clearly, like, top dog in some aspect of this realm. Like, and you still think that, like, you're just primo. I'm confused.
Teddy human, maybe. Yeah, her freak out did not last long. I agree.
Well, I will say, in her defense, so far, like, she went from finding out about magic, having a train ride, and then she gets home and is
Attack.
attacked, and she's like, so maybe she hasn't fully had enough time to, like, soak it in to
I like
then,
how
like,
she described
decompress.
it actually. What did she say? It was funny. You know, honestly, I'm wondering if this all happened within like a few hours.
It did.
And like we're just like, yeah, it's we spread it out so much that it's like, damn, that was
Right.
forever. But
So,
she
like,
because she told Nate, she's like, it's been a fuck couple of hours. And I was like,
yeah,
so she's like, I feel like maybe she's just not dealing with anything yet, like hasn't had time to,
it's been less than a day.
yeah. My God. She's not internalizing anything.
Or
But
is
magic.
she desensitized because monsters are real? I would be more freaked out about monsters being real than magic. Like, I could see some, like, magic being real because, one, is it really magic or is it just something happening in the universe that we don't understand, so we call it magic type scenario? But, like, monsters, like, if I saw an ogre walking around down my block, I think I would shit myself. Like,
Oh, that's what's driving this. Okay, that makes
yeah.
sense. Okay, chapter 11. This is Ashley.
Oh, you already hit record?
Yes.
Okay. So we're starting out, and she has left the Met steps and she is now at the mansion. She's walked all the way back to his place, and she knocks on the door, and she makes a point in the very first part of this chapter to keep bringing out, like, references to dragons, and I don't know why. Um but it's weird. So, like, the knocker is a dragon, and she describes the house as like a fire drake's horde, which is a dragon. I had to look that up too. Um, but so she meets, in my notes, I have him listed as Jeeves slash Cogsworth,
Or
aka his name
Alfred.
is Edgar.
Alfred from Batman.
No, this base is based on Beauty and the Beast,
He could be
Cogsworth.
Alfred from Batman if I want him to be. Move
He's
along.
not Batman. And so Edgar introduces himself, and he's walking her through to go into, like, the, I don't even know what fancy people call those, like a waiting room or like
A
a
foyer.
well, like, there's a fireplace and it's like a study. It felt like how she was describing it. So she's basically pricing everything as she's walking by it because she's a thief and she knows all of this stuff, like how much she could fence it for. And it's got, like, all these lush furnitures and throws and, like, heavy carved wooden tables with matching bookshelves with little knickknacks on it that are priceless. And as she's walking through there, she's like, "Well, he's definitely giving, like, the homey vibes, kinda like vampires and the opulence like a wraith likes, but he's definitely not either one of those." Um And I almost feel like we should, like, keep a checklist of, like, all the ones that she's named previously and then, like, scratch them off as she says,
It's a lot of
definitely
work.
not that one.
Like, drop it,
Um,
bitch.
yeah.
You already said that. He's not a vampire.
Um, so she sits down and he's like, "Oh, they refer to him as the master a couple of times in these next couple of chapters." Which is why I started
Beauty and
giving
Beast
them,
like.
yeah. So you've got Cogsworth as, like, the, but then, like, so she's sitting down And all of a sudden, this woman just pops up behind her with a tray that's got a teapot and cups and snacks and whatnot. And she introduces herself. So that's Isolde, and she's gonna be the cook who I feel like is gonna play a pretty big like
Yeah.
support role for her. Who BT dubs is Miss Potts, definitely.
I assumed so much.
Yeah. Um, and so she makes her this tea because so I didn't realize this, but they're all English.
Yeah, it said that do you remember he's British?
So him, yes, but I didn't realize that it was very much like everybody in that household they're all English.
He has a British household. Having
Very much
tea
so.
is old
Um,
Edgar.
yeah. And so she's drinking tea, and as she's like drinking it and trying to eat these finger foods that apparently are amazing, Graves just like pops in. Um and still wearing his gloves. She points that out like over and over again. And he just knows that, oh, you're here to take the job. She's like, you don't know that. And he just kind of stares at her. And she's like, well, like we need to basically negotiate, and I have questions that I need answers to first, which kind of really only comes down to two questions. She wants to know what his association is with the druids, which he's like, it's not an association. It's like an agreement that Lorcan and I have. And the only rule is Graves won't go after what is Lorcan's as long as Lorcan doesn't go after what is Graves'. So that's why I
I was
find it
getting real quick, sorry. It was in Throne of the Fallen. He's like keeps going like it's not a fairy tale. We get from this dude like it's not a fairy tale. So I'm like, okay, here we go. This guy's like not
yeah.
everything's happy go lucky.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're good. So that's why I'm still confused as to why Lorcan would see her coming out of Graves's mansion and be like, yeah, she might be important, so I'm gonna kill her
Or
when
maybe like maybe somehow Kierce is a pawn of his and she just doesn't even know it. Like people that she's worked for have reported up to him. Like maybe this Wraith, right? Whatever his freaking name
the
was.
fence
The what?
the fence guy.
Yeah, that dude. Maybe he reported up to Lorcan or something, like so he sees anybody who associates with him as his. That's kind of was my thought.
Maybe. Hopefully we'll find out. I'm sure
Yeah.
there's gonna be some kind of ridiculousness to it. And the second thing she wants to know is he the reason that the treaty exist? And he's like, I mean, I was involved, but I did it he admits, he's like, but I did it all for my own aims. She's like, well, did you sign it? He's like, did you?
It's a void.
Like, yeah, but we do find out he did not sign it. Like, so that's really all she even asked. And then she's like, and so I want 10 million, half up front. And he's trying to negotiate with her and starts at like 3 million. She's like, no, I want 10 million. Like, you literally cannot, nobody else can do this for you. I want 10 million. And her concession, instead of doing 10 million up front, is the half up front. And he's like, not exactly thrilled, but he does agree, but he will only pay in full at completion. So the way she worded it, I found to be kind of weird. Like, there might be some kind of like she thinks she's done, but maybe not at the end. I don't know.
That or she's gonna die.
Yeah. Well, which she then has the caveat of if she dies, the money and continued safety goes to Jen and Ethan. And because she's like super, super worried about them. She talks about that extensively in that chapter. She brings it up many times. And he's like, okay, done. And then he has decided, he's like, I'm gonna have you trained magic, mind, and body. So, and they're gonna start with spear training. And she's like, why the hell are you gonna teach me how to use a spear? Like, that's crazy. That came out of nowhere. Oxygen hates me. Sorry. Yeah, anyways. So she will be stealing a spear. He doesn't give up any kind of like, oh, it's the spear of, cinnamon and
Collect
sugar.
rare
I don't know.
objects.
Yeah. He won't give her any information. So there's just some special spear he wants. And there will be educational training. So because he doesn't deal with the uncultured,
It's very British of him
wild.
to say.
And he will provide her with books. She must read those books and then they will discuss them.
Great book club.
I mean,
Honey
it's
Library
like,
book club.
I'm not mad at this. That one's okay. And then he will teach her magic when she's ready. I don't know what that means. Like, he never clarifies in that, even though she asked a few times. And he's like, and he's like, and I'm not going to tell you anything about my magic. My secrets are my own. And then, like, whatever you learn about yourself, kudos for you, which is pretty weird. Okay, so he's going to teach her all of those things. Like, that's how he's going to teach her. And, but he has 3 conditions essentially before they can shake hands on this deal. 1, she must reside at the mansion. It is 100% mandatory, non-negotiable. No ifs, ands, but there's no way around it. There's no going in and out at will. Like, she's at the mansion until further notice. And she must keep a cell phone on her. And she's like, I don't have one. So he's going to provide it to her. And at first she's like, well, I need 2 because I need to get one to Jim and Ethan. And he is like, yeah, absolutely not. Because eventually it all boils down to like, Lorcan is going to find a way to like find you, torture you until you somehow give it up. And then he's going to go kill them. Like, do you really want I mean, he was totally manipulating her.
I mean,
But he's not
he
wrong.
also seemed like he cared. Like, like, don't be stupid.
Yeah. And so she's like, okay, fine, but I have to at least tell them that I'm not gonna they're not gonna see me. Like, I'm staying. And he's like, well, yes, but no. I will let you tell Nate,
Your
the leader.
dreadlord.
Yeah. And he can let them know. Which I find to be like a weird power move. I don't really know. That was weird. And it seems like she agrees, but we find out later that she's a dirty, dirty liar. So, and then the final and most important absolute rule is she cannot tell anyone about his secrets. And she's like, what secrets?
Tell me more.
I'm all here for it. And he admits that he actually can't bind her to her promises. So we do have confirmation that the book did not work from his own lips. So he would be trusting her more right now than he has in anyone else in years.
He's obviously never had to like deal with somebody who he couldn't just bind to a promise.
Yeah. And so he's like, so why should I trust you? Like, I have no way of knowing that I can trust you. What makes you think I would be able to trust you with my secrets and tell you? And all she says is, your secrets are your own. Like, and like Deadeye stares him. Like, I'll give her props for that because like it's hard to not fill the dead space with words when you know that like you really don't have the upper hand. But he finally accepts it as it's gonna have to be good enough. There's not really anything he can do about it. And so they shake hands, and I thought the way she phrased the last 2 sentences was interesting. She said she was making a deal with the devil, but still she placed her hand in his. An odd sort of magic, this bond between them. Old, yeah, sorry. I actually have it written as old.
I think they're implying about the shaking of the hand, like it's an old way to do business.
I agree. I feel like that's what it's meant to be on the surface, but I'm curious if
they felt something.
if it could be foreshadowing
something
to
deeper.
something. Yeah.
Well, he does have his tattoos on his hands and the gloves, so his hands
Oh,
are.
you guys, I think I know what they are.
Oh, so I before you get into another theory real quick.
Yeah, that was the end of that chapter, so.
Okay. When we're trying to like figure out what he is before we go into the further chapters, I was like, I don't know. I think it was just reading the book that we did before this. I was like, maybe he's like a devil or something because it's not like mentioned as the monsters. But at
Mhm.
this point, and then she said something making a deal with the devil. I was like, maybe he is a devil. Like,
Yeah.
because he doesn't fit in with the other monsters, he seems like he like does his own thing, and that's how a lot of the devils have been described in the books I've read.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what my theory was at this point. And I think just and she says that he not just admitted that there was another benefit of his magic not working on her, and she wasn't just valuable, she was a liability. So he was keeping her close to trainer and keep an eye on her.
Mhm.
And so she's like, things are making more sense now.
I'll say that like I have zero inclinations as to what like I could even begin to fathom what he could be.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm not even trying to because like there's I don't know. No, absolutely no clue. Because they never really even go into like all the details about the different kinds of monsters that came forward, but we already know some didn't come forward.
Yeah.
So like
True.
Yeah.
it's hard to get excited about speculating when you know that like you don't have all the information.
Yeah. That's all I had on it.
I was just gonna the little extra detail, like when he's giving her all the rules and saying she can't see her friends, he does like every time say like for their safety. So it's not like he's trying to be an asshole necessarily, or maybe he
Yeah.
is, but it's at least under the guise of this is their safety. You need to like stay
Right.
away.
Like, it's stupid. Don't do
Yeah.
that.
Well, and it's like it's reasonable. Like it doesn't feel like he's full on manipulating her to
Mhm.
manipulate her, but it's like what he knows what he's saying is right, and like she's stubborn and likes to go against him just because to like
Yeah.
assert
Well, and she
whatever
has
level
no
of dominance
information.
she can.
What
Right.
she's not giving her on purpose. So it's, what
Yeah.
do you expect?
And she was very clear. Like she laid that weakness out and that priority out from the very beginning. Like, this is the only thing that I care about. Like, yeah, I might die, but as long as I'm taking care of them, that's fine.
Yeah.
Which I don't disagree with her telling him that, but at the same time, like maybe not lay it on so thick so that
Yeah.
Maybe he
doesn't.
cares if you don't die. And maybe he cares
That
if you die or not.
well, more like the more times you bring that up, like the more they can use it against you, even
Yeah.
for the little things.
Oh yeah, she's like playing her card.
Yeah.
Letting anybody know.
Yeah, but I
Showing
can
her
just
card,
be
showing your
cynical.
hand. Is the wrong phrase.
I got
It's
what you
fine.
meant.
Okay.
Anything
Chapter
else?
12?
Chapter 12.
This one's super short. So they shake on it and they're both like, go, right? And, she's like, all right, let's get started right now. And he's like, yeah, no, I have things I need to do and you need to sleep. And this is where she confirms, like, in this moment, she's like, oh, well, thinking back, it has been a solid straight 36 hours since I last slept, which was before she pulled off the attempted heist. So like that night before. So we're looking at, a span of wee hours since she tried to actually rob him. I guess no, I was gonna say she got what she went there for, but since he gave it to her, I guess it doesn't really count. But she's still like she's really digging in. She's like, oh no, I'm not tired, whatever. And he's like, no, I need you clear headed for spear training. We're starting that first thing with Jeeves / Cogsworth. I can't remember his name anymore.
Edgar.
Edgar.
Oh.
Like from the Aristocats.
Just the
Creme de la
vibe.
creme de la Edgar. The Aristocats. Evil butler.
Oh no, now you put that in my head. Now I'm gonna think he's bad. Maybe like it's the butler. So he takes her up to the third floor, like, and she's again thinking about how rich this dude is, and it's ridiculous. And he decides to set more rules, and she's like, "We already like negotiated this," and he's like, "No, for you to live in my house, it's really one rule, and it is under no circumstance, like my rooms are off limits,
Sounds
even
familiar.
though even though you know how to break in." There absolutely do not like go around picking locks. He expects privacy and will only return it if she first provides it, which I feel like is acceptable, honestly. Like, who's being a creep and picking locks in people's houses? That's weird. And she promises, even though he can't bind her promises. And he goes to leave, and she stops him, like, because she just cannot help herself, and asks him, "Is there anybody else?" Um, or she asked, that's in a second, sorry. She asked if one more tidbit about who or what she is. And he says, I don't have proof, but I have my suspicions. And it is that you can, from what I've seen, you can nullify magic like a natural immunity to it. And he does begrudgingly admit that she is, in fact, immune to his magic. And then that's when he turns to leave. And she's like, hold on, wait, one more. And asks if he knows of anybody else that can do that. And because she's like, it might be a relative and they don't even know that I exist or whatever.
She has so much hope.
And yeah. And he turns around and he's like, he's never come across a single person in all his years, like the way he said that. And she actually picks up on it and she's like, well, how many is that? He's like, a very, very long time.
Yeah.
Very, very long time.
Whenever he's like, I have shit to do. Like, you need to go take a nap. She talks about the room already being set for. Isolde prepared it while you were sitting on the Met steps. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then she's like, whoa, I'm surprised. Oh, you can tail me. Wow. So they go into this, like, you can't drop a tail. You need to get better at this. Be more elusive. I don't know. So that was one thing.
The only thing that I had was when she's asking about herself, he makes a comment. He's like, no, you're like a delicate. She's like, I'm not a delicate flower. And he's like, no, you're like a delicate bomb. And
Yeah.
it's like she grinned like a wild creature. She likes that.
Yeah.
So just reiterating her character.
Yeah.
Nothing else on my side. You hit everything.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Are we ready for chapter 13?
Let's do it.
Okay. So Kierce wakes up disoriented a bit from her first sleep at Graves. She is just kind of taking in her surroundings. She's just describing all the luxuries of this house. There's like this huge shower with endless hot water, and she's like taking shaving. She's taking her time and enjoying everything this place has to offer, I guess.
What do we call those showers where you do all of it? Just
An
like
everything shower.
Yeah, do an everything shower.
Yeah. She's getting ready to head to breakfast. She gets out of the shower, doesn't have any clothes, and I don't know how to pronounce her name.
Isolde.
Isolde.
Do you remember the movie Tristan and
Tristan
Isolde?
and Isolde. I love that movie.
It's like a love
No.
story. Okay, that's the only reason I know.
Okay, so Isolde shows up at the perfect timing to give her fresh change of clothes. So she changes, goes downstairs. There's like this immaculate breakfast that she has prepared of basically anything. She's like, I didn't know what you like, so here's 50 different dishes.
Literally everything.
Yeah. And she's in heaven. She is kind of gobbling it all up, and then Graves shows up. So
in Mulan when she's got like a mouthful of rice, and
mhm.
it's just like that's what I pictured her looking like.
Yeah. Grave and Isolde kind of talk about how she's starved, and she's like, "This is not me starved. I don't know what you're talking about."
Good.
While she's shoveling food in her mouth. So they end up setting up a dinner for the evening for Graves and Kierce to talk and gameplay a bit. He insists on buying her new clothes versus her going back to get stuff. And it lets her know after breakfast she needs to go find Edward for her spear training. So she questions this again. She's like, yeah, about that. Why are you having me do this? I'm fluent in all of these other weapons. And he says essentially, yeah, you're gonna steal it, and I want to ensure you know how to use it in case things go bad. Um, he also goes and deposits her down payment into a fresh bank, gives her a bank card and a bag with some guns and
Some
cell
cash.
phone and cash. So she's all set up and ready to roll, essentially. And then she goes to see Edward for spear training. And she makes a point to say she feels very wrong to her the whole time. Like, I don't know if that's something or it's just the use of a spear in general, or if like there's actual like some kind of magical discomfort she's experiencing. But
To me, and like
anywho's,
how like she's been set up is like she's not really a very great fighter. Like she can hold
yeah,
her own, but like she just avoids it.
yeah, that's
And
true.
so
I
like
forgot that
anything
detail.
new,
Mm-hmm.
she does say that Edward is an unrelentingly impressive teacher.
Yes.
Edgar. Damn it, Hannah, I said Edward.
Oh, all my notes say Edward too.
The sparkly vampire butler.
My
Sorry.
bad.
Well, and I think it's difficult for her because she does say in there, like, he's trying to give her so much muscle memory buildup, and to also negate the knife skills, because it's like in the wrist and
Yes.
in the hand versus with the spear you're using like your body and your arm, and it's not a
Yeah.
swift flick of anything.
That makes sense. So after her training session, she goes to explore the library. She runs into a black cat that I'm sure we will find out more about at some
I
point.
immediately was like, it's going to transform into a person.
Me too. The whole time I was waiting to be like, who is this?
Professor
I mean,
McGonagall.
Yeah.
Who
So a
names a
black cat.
cat Anne?
That is a weird cat name.
Yeah.
And they spell it Anne like a human Anne.
Mhm.
Yeah. Mm.
Well, and
Weird.
it's very opinionated. So
Well, most cats are.
that's true.
I was like, that could be a human trait, but also cats are assholes.
Yeah,
So.
that's true.
I love cats.
Yeah, so how do you say her name? Isolde.
Pierce?
Isolde.
Isolde.
Isolde?
Isolde. Like
Isolde.
is old.
Isolde. I just wrote is because I couldn't remember her name, so then I forgot how to read it. So okay. Isolde comes down, gives her a book from Graves for her to read. It is just a book of stories and tales. She goes into the story about a bear and a girl and a monster. And yeah, the book is just full of stories and tales. She doesn't go into much detail about that. So she heads back to her room, finds the full attire for her, including some laces, which I thought was, yeah, quite probably foreshadowing.
What are you predicting there, Isolde?
Well, I think some of them would go under the ball gowns and stuff like that too. Like,
Well, she said they were lacy.
Yeah, they're not
And-
practical underwear.
Yeah, I think they're definitely intentional.
Lingerie.
oh, I have that.
Before you
on
even
my-
went too far, when she's talking about the tales, she thought back to like Graves saying that all the tales and legends come from a
Mhm.
kernel of truth. So I think that's what she's keeping in the back of her mind when she's reading this is like, what's the kernel of truth I'm looking
Yeah.
for here?
Good point. They do talk about it a little bit more in the next.
Yeah.
I didn't take notes on it, but you guys have the book.
So sorry, her unmentionables is where you left off.
Yes, which is like the end. And she's just starting to get nervous for this dinner. She's getting ready for the dinner. She's nervous about it, but she keeps reiterating this isn't a date. So we're starting to get the kernels of here comes the romance.
Yeah, she thinks it's a date because she's
Yeah.
thinking about it not being a date.
Yeah.
She wants it to be.
She's like, he's hot, but this obviously is a job. So that's chapter 13. Yes, Ashley, please speak to the class.
Thank you. So I have two things really quick. So I'll start on this one first since we're talking about the date. Just another piece of like, I don't know that I believe Tora is innocent in this like disappearing act. When she starts talking about like, it's been forever since she's been on a date or whatever, she says, and she's thinking about and how she hadn't had dinner with anyone since Tora and had decided wooing just wasn't for her. Like, so there's like whatever was going on with her and Tora, like it was very clearly like, and she mentions previously, like they weren't in the best spot. But it's like every
Yeah.
time Tora gets brought up, it's very much like I could see it being like she was on the dark side or, like
Yeah.
I don't know what the dark side, but the fact
So yeah,
that
she
it's
could definitely
again,
turn a villainous character.
yeah.
I also think that like it's mentioned that she has like kind of intimacy issues. So if you think back when she was saying goodbye to Jen and Ethan, like when she's hugging, she mentions how uncomfortable it makes her. Um, so I think that probably just like her history gives her these intimacy issues. And then she found somebody who she was clicking with and they fought and she disappeared on her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's like, I don't know what
Poof.
I don't know what to do.
And then one thing that I don't know if it has any prevalence later, but I thought the phrasing of it was really weird when she talks about when she got out of the shower and she just put her clothes back on. So she says she reattached her necklace on a breath of relief.
Yeah, like she felt weird without it on.
Yeah, like, and then when she was taking it off, she refers to it as her prized Wren necklace. Like it's very, I don't necessarily believe it's like how the last book was, where it's like
Yeah.
a token of some kind of magic or whatever. But like I feel like there's something weird, even
Yeah.
knowing
Yeah.
the connotation of the Wren in the Druid folklore. Like I don't think that's enough.
Yeah, I think it's more than just like it was her mom's.
Well, we
Yeah.
learn like that's like she doesn't remember anything, but she always remember having that necklace. So it's like the one consistent thing in her whole life,
Mm-hmm.
Es importante.
Yeah, that's tied emotionally to what she doesn't have.
Yeah.
But obviously
That
could
was
be
all I
way
had.
deeper than that too.
Yeah, I can't wait for this next chapter because there is like the darkest foreshadowing that I saw thus far. I want to see if you guys saw the same thing.
All right, then jumping into chapter 14. She comes down all dressed in her gown, in heels, and Graves. It says his eyes darken as he takes her in, so he looks her up and down and around the corner, and kind of scoffs. So to me, he's trying to hide the fact that he finds her attractive, which she a little
I
bit
imagine him
calls
being
out.
like,
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. He's just like, ah,
yeah.
yes. Let me shove my nose a little bit further in the air.
Mhm. So, yep, again, those little kernels of the romance budding. I honestly wasn't sure if it was going to be between them.
Yeah. And it might not.
Now I
What if
feel
there's
like,
no romance in this book?
or that, or
Honestly,
that.
I was actually thinking about that as I was reading this section, and I was like, I'm so entrenched in now that I know at least enough of the background on the folklore that like I'm okay with it
That's your
because
love story.
Yeah.
it is so wild. Like reading some of this now that I know some of the back end stuff. Please continue.
So, yeah, she questions him about the gloves. Again, we know she's brought this up several times. Again, maybe a reference for the readers or listeners that maybe aren't reading. We're only like 50, 75 pages in. So that's why we keep saying things are, yeah, slow. So, anyways, asking about the glove, she's mentioned it like every other chapter, it feels like. And he ignores it like he's prone to do. And he counters and he's like asking her about her necklace. Why do you wear your necklace all the time? And asks if he can see it. But she hesitates and then brings it back to him. Typical back and forth banter of people ignoring what they are trying to get out of them. So he ends up answering. He just prefers gloves. He doesn't give her a real answer. And she takes the necklace off and gives it to him so he can ponder. And she says again, like this feeling of being sick watching him hold it. So that is interesting. Like we're getting these feelings from her
Right.
when she's not like a feelings person, but
And
she's
she has no awareness of like why
mm-hmm.
things happen to her because she doesn't know she's had magic her whole life.
Yeah.
So
She's like, I don't like that.
mm-mm.
So he starts explaining kind of the Wren. It's a symbol of spring and rebirth. And when he saw it on her, he believed her to be a good omen because it means that winter is coming. He shares a story about uh something about like the day after Christmas.
Yeah,
And
that was pretty dark. It's
yeah.
Wren Day. They
Yeah.
hunt down wrens and kill them, put them on pikes and carry them through town to banish the winter god. Like you could have kept that part out. Like she probably didn't really need to hear that
Yeah.
dark part.
Yeah.
That is what I'm talking about.
What? Killing
She
the wrens
is
to
the
banish the
Wren.
dark? Yeah,
And they
so
are
they want
doing
to kill her
this.
to banish the winter god.
Yes. But listen, it's all lining up. Oh, keep going. Keep going. Okay.
Okay.
My goodness.
So she explains to him she got the necklace from her mother. He asks about her. She's like, yeah, I don't know. I never got to talk to her because she died of childbirth. And he's, contemplating this might be the key to this magic. So again, reiterating, he does not even know what the heck is going on with her. So he's trying to figure this out as well. He grabs her arm while she isn't wearing it to test this theory.
And without his glove on too.
Right.
Without
He
his
didn't put
skin
glove
on?
before then. Sorry, dude. I don't know.
It's okay.
It was an accident.
We're all struggling today. Yeah, and he's just like, yeah, it's just a trinket. So then she's wondering, okay, this must be why he wears his gloves. It must be a touch thing where his powers are concerned, which I think she had brought up before. Okay. I thought that wasn't new news, but that's just reiterating her touch theory. We learn the earliest thing she remembers is being hungry on the streets. That's when Jason found her, the guy that treated her poorly. And Isabel brings out food. She's like shoveling these berries, and he makes this comment like, "Wow, you are like really a food
Isabel?
fanatic." Like that. Oh, sorry, I said Isabel. What is her name?
Isolde.
Isolde. Shit.
I didn't even
These
catch
names
that.
are even
dying.
hard.
No,
I
they're
am.
not.
I think I am dying, and that's why I can't retain any information right now.
That's not good.
My bad. I was like, no, I said it right. I didn't say Isabel.
I said Isabel.
Same thing with the N word. Okay, apologies. I never get the names right, even when they're
It's
easy.
okay. It's okay.
Girl
obviously does not get to eat berries ever, though.
Yes. So he's just, and it was kind of an interesting comment. He's like, I don't remember ever being happy like you look right now about food. And she's like,
I've never enjoyed something that much.
Yeah.
Sad.
So I thought that was funny. Graves asked about the book that she read today, and she says it's pretty dark. They all end up dying. And he says, happy endings are a product of society, essentially. And anything to add on that? Because those are the only notes I took on the storybook conversation.
See, just that they led to two monsters. So, like, the Will of the Wisp, she thought was going to be like the happy, like, moral ending, but the Will of the Wisp and the bear were the monsters. Is that right?
Yeah.
That's what they said.
She was like most scared of the bear, more scared of the bear than the monster, which just reminded me of that story about, I'm sure you guys have heard it, where they're like, there's a woman in the woods, a man's hunting her, and she runs into a bear. Who is she more scared of?
Oh, the man.
The man.
Every time.
Yeah. The Will of the Wisp, though, both led her to her death. She didn't ever stand a chance.
Yeah.
So there's an omen there for sure.
So then
Trying to
they're
get
talking
something.
about, gigs, and he explains he thinks that she is like him, who we learn is a warlock.
You're a wizard, Harry.
Yes.
So
I
he
was
kind
waiting for
of
that this whole time.
explains this to her vaguely. We learn that most cities only have one master warlock at any time, which we learned earlier that they call him the master, so he is therefore the master warlock of this city. Um, and he's just kind of theorizing with her and explaining, maybe she is a warlock, but it's interesting because typically when they come into their power unexpectedly, they could die because it just like burns them up. I have a reference about that, but I don't remember it. So, um, yeah. So they're still again trying to figure out what is going on with her. Because he's like, I don't know why you haven't shown any kind of signs like that where you're not aware of what's happening in your body. Then they move on to discussing the job and the stealing of the spear. And when she explains that the training didn't go great, but he's like, yeah, it's going to take time, but we don't really have much time, so you need to be training daily. Um, he asks her if she's ever heard of the third floor. And we learn that this is where her girlfriend Tora was died, but I don't think that's right.
It says a place where people like Tora went to die.
Okay.
Like basically that's theorized like that if you're there, you're
Yeah.
dead.
Okay. He then brings up the men of valor that we learned a little bit about earlier. And he's, to me, shocked that she's aware of them. She just kind of says she's heard of them, but doesn't give him the full story that she's interacted with them because of Tora.
She smiles and is like, yay, time for revenge.
Mm-hmm. But leaves that part out to him, so I'm sure that will come back to bite her in the ass. He explains that they're going to be throwing a winter solstice party in a few weeks, and that is the plan.
That's important. I can tell. That was what made eyes to Ashley.
Winter. Getting rid of winter.
Was that the end of that?
She's just worried the timeline is too quick, and Graves questions her about her willingness to die, and she's like, yeah, I showed up willing to die. I would do anything for them. And that was it.
I wanted to, before Ashley goes into her theory, I wanted to go back into the wizard thing. So, warlock, whatever. So, the warlock is a word that's chosen, but he explains that they were called wizards or sorcerers or warlocks, and warlock came first around 900, and it was believed to mean oath breaker or devil. So this was where I was like, because people were really superstitious at the time, and they believed the magic they perceived was a negative force, the force that went against God and nature. Kind of sounds like somebody who didn't want us reading Harry Potter. And then like it wasn't until the 14th century that other words were developed to discuss magic more positively, like wizard, mage, astrologer. And why did he choose warlock? Because he's the darkness and he chooses to claim what he is. And he thinks that's what she is, but he doesn't know. That was an interesting interaction. She also eats all of his dessert because it's yummy. And he enjoyed watching her eat it. Ashley, winter solstice, please.
Okay. So she is very clearly the Wren. We know this. Like the Wren in the Holly Library, she's the Wren. She's wearing the necklace. And you've got all the bad people, they're coming after her, so she is clearly the focus. Yes. The Wren, Wren Day, they celebrate it on December 26th, St. Stephen's Day now, but that day didn't always exist. So traditionally, it's always been a winter solstice activity. All of the pre-Christian, Celtic, and pagan rituals associated with the winter solstice, which is the shortest day of the year, usually around the 21st or 22nd. And they are pulling this heist on the winter solstice. She is the
There's a
Wren.
spear. There's a spear. Is she gonna be on the
I
spear?
mean, like obviously the foreshadowing is meant to be like, yeah, like her death is imminent in this scheme.
Yeah. Yeah, she's gonna end up on that spear so that they could get out of the winter. Which
And the
was, I don't think
to
it would be the
appease the winter
winter. It would
god.
be like probably darkness, right? Maybe it'll banish the bad
Well, so
monsters.
they kill the Wren, the Holly King, is what they call it, because it represents the fight between the Holly King, which is like the Wren, and the Oak King, which is the spring summer, which is the Robin.
Okay. You're giving me a lot of information here that is not in the book. So Graves is the
This is what
Holly
I'm telling
King,
you.
and Lorcan is the Oak King. He's got the Robin. Okay, I get you.
And just one last little tidbit, because like
Watch this all get explained in like a later chapter. Like we were never supposed to know until the end.
oh hell no, that would
They're
be
not going to
awful.
surprise us.
So Holly is represents eternal life and like protection stuff. So the fact that he's got holly everywhere, and the leaves of the holly were considered to be like a protection because of how rough and pointy they are. I guarantee that's what his tattoos are.
Yeah, she already mentioned she saw some leaves up there and they looked like holly leaves.
Yeah, like it's some kind of magical like binding to like protect him. I can feel it in my bones. I can feel it. Yeah.
Chapter
And honestly,
15?
the rabbit hole I went down on it with AI was like literally only like 10-15 minutes. Like it wasn't even like a deep like
But you
I
got a
just
lot.
I just saw the bunny's ear. Like I didn't even see the babies. I'm just saying. Do it.
Do it.
Do it. Okay, now you can continue.
All right, chapter 15. Pierce is sneaking out after dinner. She's going to go put some contingencies in place,
She's a dirty little
preparing
scamp.
for her possible death. She is heading to the brothel and she's bypassing, all the patrols. She's making sure she's not followed, etc.
She thinks.
etc. Right. And she goes to Colette's room unexpectedly, and she's attacked by Carmine, and
she's like, "It's me," and he's still trying to kill her.
So Colette, we already know that she also hides her emotions for Tears, and she does somewhat the same here. She slaps her and she's like, I was so worried about you.
Bitch.
Yeah.
Stop doing this shit to me. So Kira tries to give her the rundown. She gives her some money. She's like, for emergency or if things go bad. She gives her the cell phone. She explains she's got
Time
this new
out.
job with a very dangerous man.
Let's not
She gave
skim
her a
over
burner phone. What?
this burner phone thing that has her phone number in it. The very scenario that he very detailed, like he will follow you, he will track you down, and he will beat the shit out of you until like what makes you think he wouldn't do the opposite to get the phone number and then be able to track this device? This is wild. Like this whole chapter pissed me off, and it's like 3 pages. Continue.
I didn't follow half of that, honestly, but I hear you.
Oh, she's doing what he literally talked her out of to begin with. Stupid.
So Colette is very much understanding. She does not think that she's going to survive. She explained she's going to take the rest of the money to Jen and Ethan. This is when Corey comes into the room, and he also confirms that they are going to stay with the Dreadlords. It's the safest place. Colette gives a little, what? You work for my security. What are you talking about? But he's yeah, no, they need to stay there. Kier's is like, you really should probably just go over there too to protect them. And he's like, Carmine would never let me. And Colette's like, well, I'll take care of him. And that's pretty much it. The chapter ends. Colette's like, be safe, girl. There's darkness in your future.
Foreshadowing. Is she planning on taking this backpack? Yes. I'm going to take this to Jen and Ethan.
Yeah.
But they didn't talk her out of it.
Well,
Like,
no,
don't
remember
take this.
she said she had at the beginning. She said she had 2 stops to make,
Yeah.
Yeah, but
and that's her first.
why isn't Corey like, just let me take it? Like, you
Right.
don't need to go there.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, I have a feeling they all know like she wants to go say bye. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
which she already kind of did. Like she even brain mouthed that. Like it was very much.
This is goodbye.
Yeah, it was a hard parting. There's darkness in your future.
Yeah,
shit.
so we've got
She's
that
a
warning. We had the
chooser.
warning from the Aberdather guy.
Aberdather.
And
I'm just gonna start
um,
randomly bringing up syllables for everybody at this
I
point.
am just not computing much these days. So yeah, lots of I'm sure we're about to really get in the heat of it.
I'm excited that we're gonna finish the first half of the book after the next section. Like we
Yeah.
get more because like
Yeah, this
I'm
is
like
going too slow.
I need to know what's happening.
Yeah. I gotta
Well, and
stay into it.
especially knowing that she's about to be spending the next couple of weeks like training. I
Mhm.
guarantee like then the first half of whatever the next episode would have been like all that. I would have been
Yeah.
like, but nothing's happened yet. She got
And
buns
she's
of
still
steel
training.
like and biceps. Like
She's not getting blisters anymore.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't really have any theories at this point. Just
Yeah, me either. I think next episode we'll have a lot, hopefully. But
yeah.
we'll
I think we
definitely
talked
have more
through all
info.
of mine. We talked through all of mine as we went through.
Yeah.
Well,
I would say before
awesome.
you guys read the next section, like read my follow-up notes little druid
You put it
thing
in there.
and
Okay,
like
perfect.
Okay.
yep,
I'll read
highly
that.
recommend. It'll take
You
you
got it.
1 to 2 minutes.
You
Yeah.
got it, dude.
Perfect. Well, join us next episode. Like we said, we're gonna double up because this one was a normal length episode, but because Ashley threw in her new knowledge.
Yeah.
But I think otherwise this would have been very quick and there's not a lot really to get through. So we'll see. Maybe we
See you
really
next
made a
time.
mistake and next week it's like way too much information.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. But see y'all next time. Night,
Love you, sisters.
sisters.
Goodbye.
Actually, that was the eye roll that Mom hates. I just saw it.